Welcome to the GameMaker FastTrack. So, here's the situation. Well, hey, look at that, you've got a simple game going here. But, well, it's still not very fun to play. Part of that is that it's not an especially complex game, but a big part of it is that it's not juicy enough. Juice is a general game design term that refers to the feedback you get from things that happen in the game. Particles, flashing, screen shakes, etc. Things that aren't always super consequential, but serve to make things more satisfying. First, let's make things react to damage. To start with, replace your enemy's draw self with this more complex sprite drawing function. This will give us more control over how the sprite appears via its many arguments, without affecting its collision. The ones we want to focus on are the scale and color arguments. Put image blend in the color argument, that's the default variable that can tint an object sprite one way or another. When checking for a collision with a bullet, set image blend to see red if it's hit, or see white if not. This will make enemies flash red briefly when they take damage. The next step is more complex. We want to be able to squash and stretch the appearance of enemies, but we don't want to change their collision. Give the enemy a method called squash and stretch that affects new variables for drawing its width and height. Then, in the draw event, slot those variables into the new draw function and add code to process squashing and stretching. Now, make them squash and stretch when damaged, and you'll see this makes them look a lot more reactive. Particles, at least in their basic form, are pretty simple. Open up your bullet's destroy event, which triggers, well, when it's destroyed. Here, use this function to draw some sparks that will spray out. Next is everyone's favorite, screen shake. You'll want to make an alarm in your camera manager that controls whether screen shake is happening, and a method to trigger it. The actual execution is fairly simple. Every frame, if the screen shake alarm is still active, simply add a number in a random range to both your camera's X and Y positions. The size of the range will determine how extreme the shake is. Be careful not to nauseate yourself. Go ahead and use screen shake for when you get hurt or an enemy dies to highlight those important moments. Last but not least are the gameplay ways to enhance juice. These are pretty simple, just up the speed, amount of enemies, and rate of fire. Changing your bullet sprite to be more eye-catching and rotating to match its aim can help with this. There's a lot more to juice than this, but it's not really my intent to go over every single one with you. The point is to show you how these things are actually implemented in code. And ultimately, that's the goal of the Fast Track, getting you up and running and coding and curious as quick as humanly possible. You may have noticed that there are clear bugs and janky bits in the code I've provided you with, and that's by design. I'm not really here to show you how to make a specific game, but to give you the tools to begin exploring and experimenting on your own initiative. With this, the 10th video, the last of the basics videos, I'd say you're already well on your way. From here on, the videos will start to get a bit more abstract as we start to talk about the ways code is organized on a larger scale. Things that are incredibly important if you want to make a game of any complexity. So next time, you'll be starting off with state machines. See ya then!